All right, good morning, traders. Today is August 22nd, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading service for the hit and run candlesticks family. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land, as well as my members here in the room. Thank you for your subscriptions. Hey, I don't take anything for granted. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for following me on my journey. Thank you, everybody, especially John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted. Thanks for sharing the content. Appreciate that. Love that. Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the markets today. Again, I don't take any of that for granted. I try to provide actionable, profitable content every day. All right. Let's take a look. Oh, before we get started, let's take a look at some announcements. Oh, by the way, Rick Sadler from Hit and Run Candlesticks is going to have an open house on Tuesday. That's August 26th, 8:45. I would get there at 7:45. He usually starts early, all right, and it's going to run until about 4:15. All right, now, I will leave a link in the description. If you cannot wait for the link, just pause the video and scan that with your smartphone camera. All right, that will take you to a link, all right, which will provide you with registration. Again, registration, or actually attendance is free, entry is free. All you got to do is get registered. Okay, so all you got to do is scan this. It's a QR code with your smartphone. It opens up a browser page. Okay, so you click the link in there or the pop-up, and that'll send you to a browser page that will provide you with a link to get registered. Well, not a link, but a place to get registered for the open house, which is Tuesday, August 26th. Again, I'd get there about 7:45, and we'll send you the credentials there in your email. All right, once you get signed up. Thank you so much for that. All right, so. All right, this morning, SPY pivot, 636.05. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Diamond Dow made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. FNGU, SPY, QQQ made inside days. That's lower highs and higher lows, closing below bearish traps and under the 17 EMAs. IWM made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Different story there. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute downtrend. Silver, no longer in an uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish cross over the 17 EMA. Gold in a daily downtrend made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. USO in a daily downtrend made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside a bullish cross over the 17 EMA. UNG made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside a bearish trap under the 17. US dollar index in an uptrend closed near the 98.57 area. SPY Max Pain 636 for today, with a put to call ratio of about 2.5 puts to each call that expires today. All right. Again, if they're starred, they're in a launch pad right here to move higher. If they're starred over here, they are in a platform to move lower. All right. So this is August 22nd. Let's take a look at the markets today. All right. So this is SPY's candle for yesterday, this one right here. Lower high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap, okay, and under the 17 EMA. Okay, if we look at this with the quad lines on there, we're still up at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish up there. Okay, we haven't made a lower low yet, so we're still in an uptrend. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ still in an uptrend, still bullish at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, SPY and QQQ are both in uptrends, just not moving up. All right, kind of moving over to the right. at this time. FNGU. FNGU is still in a downtrend because they made a lower low right here, and they never recovered from that lower low. In other words, they had to produce a higher high, and they failed to do that up there. Okay, so they're still in a downtrend. They're still bullish because they're still up in quadrant 4. Again, prices moved up, and they're consolidating up here in quadrant 4. Price action was an inside day, lower high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. Again, still bullish, still in that downtrend that's moving to the right. Okay, so there's QQQ, Diamond Dow. Okay, Diamond Dow put in yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Okay, up there in quadrant 4, top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. Okay, and still in an uptrend. IWM. Okay, IWM yesterday put in a higher high, higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Up there in quadrant 4, that's bullish and still in an uptrend for IWM. Notice it's up over the all-time high anchored VWAP there too. All right, let's take a look at technicals. Actually, let's look at a few others. All right, let's take a look at GLD. All right, GLD right here, price action still up over 300. It's in a downtrend because it made a lower low. Got two lows here. They made a lower low. They failed to make a higher high. So they're just consolidating over to the right again in a big pennant. All right, so there's gold. All right, still hanging out over 300. Still holding strong. Still moving up and holding the higher ground on gold. All right, so price action looking very good. It's just yesterday. We made a lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap and under the 17 EMA, but on top of this all-time high anchored VWAP up there. So gold holding the higher ground, still bullish, top of quadrant 4, but in a downtrend that's not moving down. All right, silver, same thing. In a downtrend that's not moving down, price action, a higher high, higher low, closing over a bullish cross over the 17 EMA, but up here in quadrant 4, so that's bullish. All right, in a downtrend that's not moving down. It's on silver. Okay, USO. USO moving up, giving it up, moving it up, giving it up, and still stuck on the midpoint here, so just neutral. Kind of hooking right now. Got a little hook going on. We'll see what they want to do right off of all-time high anchored VWAP or 3-year high. Yeah, 3-year high anchored VWAP there. Price action, neutral. Price action with a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish cross and over the 17 EMA. Still in a downtrend. They got to make a higher high. That'd be up here. Okay, price action is neutral and still in a downtrend, but not moving down. All right, any longer. Not moving down any longer. There's USO. UNG. UNG, remember, not yesterday, but the day before, made a new all-time low. Yesterday's candle was a higher low and a higher high, closing inside a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. Okay, all the way down here at quadrant 1. So this is bearish and in a downtrend. Take a look at our technicals, T2101. Okay, as far as the breadth goes, we lost some breadth on the movement or the momentum, okay, of price pushing to the upside. Okay, lost a little more breadth right there, and that's T2101. T2122, we are winding up for a pop here. See all this right here? That's usually a wind up that pops higher instead of moving in a straight line. All right, this is kind of like a big wind up to move higher. Yesterday's price action, you can see here's a low. We made a higher low from yesterday, all right, from the day before. We also made a higher high. Okay, we made a double, triple appearance inside the buy zone. Bears threw us out each time. Price action T2122 got some higher lows. and some equal highs. So we're consolidating to move up into the buy zone. We're knocking on the door, just haven't had any welcome mat put out for us yet in the buy zone. Okay, up there at the top of the buyer's chop zone, T21.22. T21.23, more melting up, all right? Green from the beginning of the day almost to the end of the day, but all in all, price is melting up, all right? Still got that bullish gap that has not been filled by the bears, not in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trading days there. T21.23 up over the 200 SMA, that's bullish, and in an uptrend on the 15-minute chart. On the 3-bar chart, still in an uptrend. You can see here's a low, well actually here's a high, there's a higher high, there's a higher high right there. We have not made a lower low, so we're still in an uptrend on the 3-bar chart. Consolidating up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Up over the hooking 200 SMA, that's bullish. Dealing with these prior highs over here, a little consolidation from prior time, right there, dealing with that. Okay, if we can get past these 3 highs, we can make an attack on the all-time high, which is right up here, and it's looking good. They are like winding up and melting up day by day. Here you can see here's price action since that gap up. They've been melting up nearly every day, moving up, holding that higher ground, melting up. So looking like an attack on the all-time highs could be coming soon. We'll see. Maybe not this month. Most possibly in September. We'll see. T21.23. FNGU. FNGU not helping us out at all. Okay, it's actually in a bear flag. Price action has moved down. Okay, moving down. Okay, moving down and then over to the right. Okay, so down and over to the right. That's not good. We're underneath the 200 SMA. That's not my favorite spot to be. Price action is yesterday. You can see we came from this high and we meandered back to these lows. The only good news I can report is that we did not make a lower low. We did not make a significant lower low. So I would expect price to run up and challenge the high. All right, and if it gets over the high early, I would expect it to move up to the 200 SMA right up here. We'll see what happens. That's FNGU, failure to make a lower low. All right, so chances are price is going to meander back up and challenge the prior high. And then if it gets through there early in the day, possibly up to the 200 SMA. Remember, Fridays, they like to pin it at a number at the end of the day. So don't get too rambunctious. I'm going to say, right about 232, all right, maybe even 130. Whatever that number is probably pretty close to where they want to pin it for the rest of the day, all right? So we'll see what happens, all right? That's FNGU. All right, let's take a look at the economic package, all right? And what do we got here on the economic package? U.S. dollar index, okay? Still in that bear flag underneath minor resistance, okay? Minor resistance right through here, okay? Still in that bear flag that comes down and then over to the right. Sloppy flag, by the way. And it's in an uptrend inside that bear flag. Okay, you can see it's made higher low, higher high. Again, another higher low. We closed up here near the 98. I have to scoot in here. So we closed up here near 98.60 area. Okay, about 98.60 yesterday. Still in that uptrend on the daily chart. Okay, SPY max pain 636. Put to call ratio 2.49 puts to each call that expires today at 4:15. Earnings. The big earnings were yesterday. That would be Home Depot. And no, Walmart. Make sure I'm on the right day. Yeah, yesterday was Walmart and Intuit, Full Truck Alliance. Okay, today, today is nothing but familiar names. Nothing really here that's going to move the markets. Next week, let's see what we got for next week. PDD Holdings. PDD Holdings 174 billion. I think the big one's Wednesday. Wednesday we got Nvidia is going to report. Okay, that can move the markets. Okay, so all eyes on Nvidia on Wednesday. All right, on the economic calendar, Mr. Powell's going to report, I believe, from Jackson Hole at 10 o'clock today. And that is a rig count at 1, and that's it. And I will be gone at noon today. All right, I'll be taking off. And I'm pretty sure Ed or Doug or Rick or somebody will fill in. All right. All right, that's it this morning. Thank you for hanging out with me. Let me go ahead and get this video wrapped up and rendered off to video land and get it posted up in digital land. Thank you so much. Oh, let's go over the plan. One more thing. All right, one more thing. Okay, so SPY. Okay, so we're going to mark off the range, all right, the overnight range, the morning range. If we get a breakout of the morning range, that'll be a tradable entry up there. And then we're also going to mark off the 15 minutes, okay, the first 15 minutes. And if we get a breakout from there, we'll look for an entry, okay. You can see price action is melting up. Looks like we're going to have an up day. I believe a lot of that is because of FNGU. So wherever FNGU can probably get us today, I think that's probably where we're going to go. We've already got some momentum going on in the T2123. FNGU has been the only thing that's been holding us back. Okay, so there's SPY this morning. We're up over the pivot. That's a good sign. Again, anytime we see consolidation over prior consolidation, right here, that's bullish. All right, consolidation over prior consolidation. All in all, we're still over to the right. All right, and yesterday was pretty range bound, not far, didn't move far. So I would expect something to break loose, maybe around 9:30 when the market opens, maybe around 10 o'clock when Mr. Powell speaks. All right, so there's SPY on the 10-minute. All right, so just be careful, okay, wherever you're going at, 9:15 after 15 minutes, or 9:45, because the market's open at 9:30, and then you're going to wait for your 15-minute breakout. That would put you at 9:45. Mr. Powell speaks at 10. That could be short-lived. All right. So just be careful, all right? Be aware of that at 9:30, there may be another market direction move in a new direction, all right? Or reinforce the old one. We'll see what happens, okay? So be careful, because 10 o'clock, things could change, 10:15, right around there. All right, so there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Now, also Fridays are notorious for a 5-minute reversal. In other words, they'll head off into one direction sharply, all right, for 5 minutes, and then they'll reverse, all right? So Fridays are kind of wild, all right, because usually about 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, that's probably going to be the number they're going to close it at the end of the day. They like to pin it there and keep it there, and they've usually hit that number by usually 1:30, 2 o'clock, okay? Whatever number they got at 2 o'clock is usually the number they like to pin it to till the end of the day. And then on the beginning of the day, the first 5-minute candle usually tends to be the wrong direction, all right? They like to do it. They don't do it all the time, okay? Just saying that, okay? But they're notorious for doing a 935 reversal. All right, so be careful for that. And then again, be careful for Jackson Hole announcement from Mr. Powell. We'll see what happens there. All right, so that's it for me. Again, I'll get this out to video land. Everybody be good this morning. Where's the quad? Okay, just kidding. KJ, no trade day, it seems, probably. Yesterday's gap not filled, important. Yes, that is. That still shows weakness on the bear's part. Yes, that is still. Could I cover QQQs? Yes, I can cover QQQ as well. Still weakness on the bull's part because we never filled gap yesterday. Another day we didn't fill gap, but I got a feeling we're going to head up to that gap this morning. All right, we'll see what happens. I actually think we'll probably gap up this morning. We'll see what happens. Actually, I think we'll probably fill both gaps between the 935 reversal and the possible 10, 15, 10 o'clock reversal. I think we'll probably fill both those gaps today. It's going to be wild, I believe. You get 2.5 puts. If the Bulls want a put squeeze, they have to apply the pressure right out of the gate, all right, and move it up all day long, all right. So wherever direction they get going on, probably at 9:45. Hopefully they've got it going in the right direction, and Mr. Powell doesn't affect what they want to do. All right, so there's SPY. So that's let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ is going to be the same thing. We're going to mark off the upper range up here on the overnight and the lower range down here. Breakout of this range. All right. Again, you've got consolidation over prior consolidation. Notice they're here for more than 6 10-minute candles. So that spells commitment to me. We'll see what happens. Okay, remember we were here for more than 6 10-minute candles. I said that spells commitment. They want to go higher. All right, they tried to pull down. Notice they failed and they started melting up. Okay, so there's QQQ. Anytime they're holding these 6 candles up here like this, that spells commitment to go higher. Again, commitment to go higher. They're melting up right now. That's what it looks like to me. All right. Now, how high they get, they could just make a little micro higher. They could make a failed breakout and then come tumbling down. But whenever I see this, most of the time it means they want to melt up higher, or they want to go higher whenever they get 6 10 minute candlesticks or more. Is an indication to me that they want to move up higher. So there's QQQ. We're going to mark off the overnight range. We're going to mark off the first 15 minutes. Again, you're susceptible to the same news that SPY is on QQQ. All right. And Mr. Powell speaks at 10 o'clock. All right. From Jackson Hole, I believe, this morning. Okay. Same thing on QQQ. Fridays are notorious for a 935 reversal. All right. And Fridays are notorious for pinning it to a number by 1:30, 2 o'clock. Okay. So that's QQQ. All right. So on the game plan for QQQ, pivot 630, 630. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. You can see where price action got right up to there, and then found a home on top of it. Okay, you got green erases red. Okay, up here over 565.45. You can see we're approaching that area now. This is the overnight range or the morning range right there. So there's QQQ. All right, just be aware we do have a downtrend line up here at 570. Okay, so that would be my target today, anywhere around 570, 571. That would be a nice target. Hopefully they can get up there. We'll see what happens. Again, I like 7 days till expiration Friday puts on the multiple of 5. I like 14 days till expiration Friday puts and calls options on the multiple of 5. I like strikes that are $2 to $10 out of the money. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. This applies to both QQQ and SPY. Okay, I like 7 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5. 14 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5. Okay. What calls will I look for on which QQQ? On QQQ, with a plan to get to 570 or up to this downtrend line, and this downtrend line here, I would look for 568 calls. 568 or 567. All right, if you can. If not, maybe some 570 calls that are 7 days till expiration. All right. Again, on the shorter time frames, if you're going to play the 1 or the 0 or the 2, the 3 DTE or the 0 DTE, I would look for the 568 calls. What does T2122 say? I just did it. It's grinding up. And President Trump's going to speak shortly after Powell. Thank you. And Rickster. Thanks, Rickster. All right. I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes. Yep. Jerome bashing? No, I'm not. I'm not a Jerome basher. All right. He got us through a lot of that inflation. It's too bad he couldn't catch it earlier. But, you know, it's important that the markets have some expansion. And inflation is an easy way to get some expansion in the numbers that they're using. Oh, Trump will, Trump will do some, probably say something. He can't help himself. Between 0 and 3 DTEs, 568. All right, calls. All right, if we move up, and based on T2122 and T2123, I would think we're moving up. Okay, for those calls. All right, that's what it seems like right now. I pull back up to that downtrend line. So that's what I would choose. If you're going to go longer term, 7 and 14 days, I would use the 570 and the 575 calls. If you're going to do 14 and 7 days till expiration, that's what I would use. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't tell anybody what to trade, when to sell, and when to buy. Yeah, 568s if you're going to go short term. All right. No, Robert, Alpha Dog, that was for QQQ. All right. That was for QQQ 568s. Yeah. And 570s. Okay. All right. Okay, because you wrote SPY there. Oh, you got a question mark on that one. All right, let's go back and look at it. Wherever this downtrend line takes us, right there. Okay, so calls for this one, I would look for Short term, 639. 639 for the short term. 640, 645, and 650 for the 7-day and the 14 days. Okay, short term, 638, 639. I got 637 now, so I'd probably go with the 639s on a short term. Okay, on the longer term, I would go with 645, 650 calls to the upside. On the longer term, that would be the 14 days and the 7 days. Okay? Yes. Yeah. Look for this to smack the trend line. This will be a double touch. They'll probably get smacked down the first time. And you see this peak between the two valleys right here? That'll most likely be the smackdown pullback area. We'll see what happens. All right, something will probably happen at that peak between two valleys. Maybe a reversal back down, or maybe a pullback from the downtrend line back to this to bounce back up higher. We'll see what happens. This will probably be an important point. A lot of candles on each side of it. So that'll make this a very important, not a very important point, but an important place right there. That peak between the two valleys. You're welcome. All right, I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.